Again, everybody, it's Kevin Knessa coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 31st day of October in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Halloween, no matter where it is you are in the country, and that you and the kids are all safe and back home safely from trick-or-treating. But as you do every Monday night, just because it's Halloween doesn't mean there's not news to bring to you. You welcome me into your homes so that I might bring you everything that has happened in the last week. But this is a non-traditional newspaper that we have this week, and you'll see momentarily why that is. But the lead story, of course, was this fire that took place on Elm Street Friday afternoon, just shortly past the noon hour. The fire department arrived on the scene, and according to Chief Joe Mastandrea, found a significant amount of smoke emanating from the ground floor. And when you see the picture, you probably can't tell so much from your screen, but there was significant smoke damage and burns to the first and second floors. And there was also significant smoke damage up to the second floor of the house. And fortunately, the fire department was able to save the building, but residents can't stay there now. They're going to have to get everything redone. So they've been displaced for now, but the building was able to be saved, thank goodness. And according to the chief, nobody was injured during the course of that fire. But what a horrifying thing to have to go through. I always hate when we have fires. And it's a pretty new building too. If you've been around here long enough, it was only a couple of years ago. We were estimating around 2019, maybe 18, that house went up. It used to be Steve's garage, and then it was a Chevron station for many years. I remember when I was a kid, lived on Elm Street, and that place was a gas station too. But just recently did that house go up. Now, when we were broadcasting live from the scene that day, there was some speculation in the chat room that perhaps the fire started from an electric vehicle, and I want you to know that that's not the case here. The fire department is not completely sure yet. They're still investigating this blaze, where the fire started, but what they are certain of, and the chief told me as much, it did not start from an electrical vehicle. So for anybody who may have been watching that video live on Friday, the fire, though the origin is not yet known, certainly did not start from an electric vehicle catching fire or from charging. Now, all that said, I discussed this with the chief last night, and we're going to do a story in the coming weeks about the safety of charging electric vehicles and using the proper charges, charging for the proper amount of time, not overcharging, and things of that nature. He tells me that the FDNY is seeing an increase in electric vehicle fires. And, it's a very big department, obviously, in the biggest city in the world, but eventually we may start to see that here. So the chief and I are going to sit down and we're going to talk about the importance of safety when it comes to electric vehicles and the type of chargers you use and things of that nature. So we'll get to that in the coming weeks. I want to thank Joe Mastandrea for that and for the information about the fire. Hey, did you know that the nurses at Clara Moss Medical Center in Belleville voted almost, not unanimously, but pretty close, at 80% in favor of unionizing? First time in the history of that organization that's been here for however long. It's been such a long time. So the union will be formed, and we'll see what comes of that. But Ron Lear has the whole story, so I hope you'll check that out. It starts on page number 1. Now, you'll see at the bottom of page 1 is an election ad from Mayor Daniel H. Prunty, the mayor of North Arlington. He is running with Lynette Cavadas and Kirk Del Russo in North Arlington, and they have a banner ad there on the front page. Now, remember Lynette and Kirk for a minute, because as we get onto the inside of this week's edition of The Observer, there's not much to say now because you need to read these. We have self-submitted profile questionnaires that we extended to those who are running for the town council and for the town councils, in Kearney and in North Arlington. Now, a few housekeeping items. We didn't do it in Harrison because all of the elections there are uncontested. So we, for the sake of the amount of space that we have, kept it at that. We extended the invitation to anybody who's running for a council seat, whether they be an incumbent or a newcomer to the race. And we did that for the towns of North Arlington and Kearney. We received back a significant number of replies, including here from George Zapata, who runs unopposed in the first ward in the town of Kearney, Peter Santana, who runs unopposed in the second ward in the town of Kearney, Eileen Eckel, the incumbent who is running for third ward councilwoman in the town of Kearney, against David Paskevich, who is running as a non-affiliated candidate. I always say this every year around election time. The easy thing to do is to say he's running as an independent, but the truth of the matter is Dave is not running as an independent. He is running as a non-affiliated voter. There is actually an independent party in the state of New Jersey. So Dave is running up against Eileen Eckel, who is the incumbent councilwoman who's been there since 2008. We move into this page here just briefly. This is an ad from the Santos team with information about the poll openings on Tuesday, November the 8th, which is Election Day. And Sidney Ferreira is the non-incumbent in this race, or excuse me, I should say he's one of two non-incumbents in this race. He is running unaffiliated on the ticket with David Paskevich for councilman in the fourth ward. And you may remember Sidney ran for mayor of Kearney last year in the primary as a Democrat against Mayor Alberto Santos. And then we also have in the fourth ward, Stat Theodoropoulos, who is also running for fourth ward councilman. He is affiliated with the Santos team, but he is not an incumbent. He is running for the first time because Councilwoman Eileen Eckel Councilwoman Susan McCurry decided that she was not going to seek a new term after serving on the council since, I believe, 2000. So she retires at the end of this term, and that race pits Ferreira against Theodoropoulos. Try saying that 3 times in a row. In North Arlington, there are races for mayor and for 2 seats on the borough council. The 2 borough council seats carry with them 3-year terms. Lynette Cavadas responded to our request, as did Kirk Del Russo. Both of them are incumbent Republicans who are running on a ticket with Mayor Dan Pronti. The Democrats, however, did not respond to any of our requests for those interviews. And we do understand that there are Democrats running for town council and borough council and for the mayor's seat, but we're just not sure who they are. So, unfortunately, we don't have anything on them, but we do have responses from the incumbents and the mayor on the mayor's ticket. Now, briefly about the mayor's races. We did not do written profiles of the candidates who are running for mayor. However, Dan Pronti is the mayor of North Arlington, and we interviewed him one-on-one. And we interviewed Jim Fife, the mayor of Harrison, and Anselmo Milan, who is his opponent in the race in Harrison. On Thursday morning at 8 a.m., we will release those videos all at the same time. We will link to them from our social media to our website, where they will be embedded on our website, where you'll be able to watch the videos for the 3 of the 4 candidates who are running for mayor. Again, that includes Mayor Jim Fife in Harrison, his opponent Anselmo Milan, and Dan Pronti, who is the current mayor of North Arlington. So again, about 8 a.m. on Thursday morning, we will release them with links on our social media pages to our website, where you'll be able to watch those interviews at your leisure for your pleasure. And some are long, some are not. So you'll have to decide on your own. We did our best not to cut out anything of importance, but we also wanted to make sure that each and every one of them were an hour or less. So you'll see that when those are released on Thursday morning. Our sports reporter, Jason Bernstein, has two soccer recaps about the local boys and girls soccer teams in the state tournament. And he also has an athlete of the week, but I'm not going to tell you who that is because if I did, you wouldn't pick up the paper. So do that. Check it out. An athlete of the week. I'm not even going to tell you where she's from, but it is a young lady. So check that out. This is a full page ad, of course, from Mayor Fife and his team. And he took out a full page ad for the second time in as many weeks. And this is one of the unbelievable things that we have had. Apparently, there was a stabbing outside the Donegal Tavern on Kearney Avenue last week, and I guess a brouhaha, according to Tim Wagner, developed inside the pub, and the victim came back in from the outside, didn't even realize that he had been stabbed. Now, of the two suspects, one of them was kept behind bars without bail. The other suspect, however, was released on his own recognizance without bail at all. And that's because there is a formula somehow that says that he is not a danger to society, but the other guy was because he has more experience in the criminal justice system. So go figure that. Unfortunately, the one person was released on bail after allegedly stabbing somebody outside a bar. What do you have to do to get bail in this state? It is remarkable what you have to do to get bail in this state. I don't even know what to say anymore. So bail reform at its best. People say that this bail reform is working. I want to know who thinks that because it's not. We have 2 pages of classifieds this week. So if you're looking for a job or services and things of that nature, you will find it in this week's classified. Apartments are limited. Not sure why. Again, if you know, let us know in the comments below why apartments are so hard to come by these days. And as I had mentioned to you last week, our Lisa made it to another round of voting. So be sure to vote for her in the Fab Over 40 contest, and the link of which you will find on our Facebook page at the pinned post at the top. Let's get Lisa over the hump, and hopefully by the time this contest is said and done, she will win it all and get the grand prize, which is just an amazing feat. So thank you to everybody who has already voted, and I hope that all of you will consider doing that again over the next week. And I think there'll probably be another round or two after this one. It just seems to be going on and on forever, but that's the idea. I'm really dragging it out a bit. So don't forget to vote if you can. Now, that's going to do it for this week's edition of the Observer Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us an hour earlier this week if you're watching live or whenever you're watching. I appreciate the fact that every one of you take the time that you do each and every week to watch. And if anything happens during the course of the week, we'll join you right here from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com. Kevin Knessa signing off for now. We hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Good night, everybody.